really overturn anything.
They beat her. They spat on her. They cursed her in whispers and in shouts. And then they carried her to the tree. One of the men swung a rope through the branches while another fashioned a noose. And there, in a snow-covered field outside of her own home, Mary Webster was hanged.
Wow.
When she stopped moving, the men cut her down, took her body and rolled it in the snow, burying her. And then they left. They walked back into town, back into the home of Philip Smith, back to the others who knew what they had done. And they waited. They waited for Smith to get better, the curse to lift, and for their lives to return to normal. They waited for safety, for their superstitions and fears to fade away, now that Mary was gone. And oh, how wrong they were.
Man.
The world of the 17th century was tensive and harsh, especially for the people trying to carve out an existence in colonial New England. The Protestant Reformation of the century before had left most Europeans believing that bad things happened because of the devil. Everything that went wrong, and I mean everything, was caused by something supernatural. This was a time when misfortune, loss, and even a simple illness would be blamed on the work of witches and sorcerers. Because of this, everyone in town was on the lookout. If something went wrong, there was always someone to blame. It seems there was a devil in every community. History is full of people who took things too far. The events that took place in Hadley in the winter of 1685 are just one of the countless examples of what superstitious people are capable of when their fear gets the better of them. Sadly, though, it didn't work. When friends arrived the next day to look in on Philip Smith, he was dead. What they found, though, gave their suspicions new life. It was said that his body was still warm despite the winter cold, that his face was black and blue, and fresh blood ran down his cheeks. His chest was swollen, and his back was covered in bruises and holes.
Having us go to Luna Pier. Luna Pier.
That's where we're going?
The other day. Oh, so sorry.
Turns out that Mary was also an ancestor of well-known novelist Margaret Atwood. In 1995, Atwood published
What'd you think of?
Happy. The place that's happy.
It was written in sections,
Nice.
each one covering.
And it's crazy though because when
beginning with the hand.
we were, when people didn't know about us being together yet, like that was the safest place they felt being with you.
And the room. Before.
Sorry, one more kid.
episode was made possible by Norton 360 Worldwide. These are turbulent and fraudsters love it. Cybersecurity researchers are warning that cybercriminals are sending emails that include Black Lives Matter in the subject
it's taking us to consumer.
And if the recipient clicks on the file attached to the email,
I don't even think you're allowed
Microsoft
out there
malware known as TrickBot. And phishing emails are just one of many ways cybercriminals can try to take yours. Click a bad link in the email and it could give them access to your passwords or your personal info. Norton LifeLock
I don't think that was
protection
here, was it?
Norton 360 with LifeLock provides device security, identity theft protection, and a
Man, I'm overshooting it a lot.
And if you have an identity theft problem, a US-based
Well, that last one I didn't
specialist
overshoot, but this one I did.
No one can prevent all cybercrime and identity theft or monitor all transactions in all businesses. The Norton 360 with LifeLock is a powerful ally for your cyber safety. Sign up today and save 25% or more on your first year by going to norton.com/Lord. That's 25% off Norton 360 with LifeLock at norton.com/Lord. This episode was made possible by BetterHelp. What's interfering with your happiness? Maybe it's something preventing you from achieving your goals, or just the circumstances of life right now. No matter what the reason might be, one thing is clear: we could all use some help from time to time. That's where BetterHelp comes in. BetterHelp offers online licensed professional counselors who are trained to listen and help. BetterHelp counselors specialize in many areas, including relationship conflict, anxiety, depression, loss, trauma, and more. With BetterHelp, you can securely connect with your counselor in a safe and private online environment, and everything you share is confidential. BetterHelp will assess your needs and match you up with your own licensed professional therapist in under 24 hours. BetterHelp is not self-help, it's professional counseling. You can send a message to your counselor anytime, and you'll get timely and thoughtful responses. Plus, you can schedule weekly video or phone sessions, all without having to sit in an uncomfortable waiting room. And BetterHelp is a truly affordable option. In fact, so many people have been using BetterHelp that they're recruiting additional counselors in all 50 states. I want you to start living a happier life today. Lore listeners get 10% off their first month by visiting betterhelp.com/Lore. Join over 1 million other people taking charge of their mental health. That's betterhelp.com/Lore. This episode of Lore was researched, written, and produced by me, Aaron Mankey. Lore is much more than a podcast. There's a book series in bookstores around the country and online, and the second season of the Amazon Prime television show was recently released. Check them both out if you want more lore in your life. I also make 2 other podcasts, Aaron Mankey's Cabinet of Curiosities and Unobscured, and I think you'd enjoy both. Each one explores other areas of our dark history, ranging from bite-sized episodes to season-long dives into a single topic. You can learn about both of those shows and everything else going on all over in one central place, theworldoflore.com/now. And you can also follow the show on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Just search for Lore Podcast, all one word, and then click that follow button. When you do, say hi. I like it when people say hi. And as always, thanks for listening. I've spent most of my life in the presence of troubled sports teams. Growing up in the Chicago area, I was always aware of how long the Cubs had gone without winning a World Series title. It was less a point of pain and more a numb spot in the collective conscience of everyone around me. When I moved to Boston in the late 90s, I discovered a similar culture, this time centered around the Red Sox. Again, here was a team that had spent decades waiting. Year after year, hope would be manufactured and piled high in the cart of expectations, only to have that cart dumped on its side at the end of each season. Until 2004.
I remember I had to drop a car off.
That was the year things changed.
Oh, really?
That was the year that brought the Tower of Hopelessness down. The
It
tower
reminds me of trying to back in and back out.
Oh,
brick
yeah.
by brick, year after year. And brought it
Take
all
a
back
boat
down.
out there.
The wait was over. No, I don't plan to talk about baseball
Yeah, so
today, but I
having me
do
go
think
into the
that
lake
the story of these teams, like the Cubs and the Red Sox, have something valuable to teach us about how our minds work, our ability to justify, to explain, to make sense of what seems so often to not make any sense at all. That's what I find fascinating. Humans are so very good at finding reasons. Lurking behind the Red Sox 86-year wait like a shadow.
I mean, it is.
Still hovering over the Cubs.
What did you think
after
of?
107
Safe spot?
long years.
Happy.
Are the excuses.
The happy little
More
street.
specifically, the curses. I mean, how else are we to explain such droughts, such logic-defying gaps in their scorecards? Of course, both of these teams had to be cursed, right? But the Bambino and Billy Goat weren't the first curses in history, and they were far from the last. And while some curses have been entertaining or even laughable, others have defied explanation long enough to make people wonder. In fact, some have even been deadly. I'm Aaron Mankey. This is Lore. The word curse comes from the Old English word curse. Just drop the E and you'll have the root. The meaning isn't actually very clear, but one of the uses of the Old English word is to denote a path or a route. Now, I'm no etymologist, but I think the word picture here is actually pretty clear. Life is like a journey. Sometimes we walk along the path of our choosing, and sometimes we're pushed off and into the woods. It's in those moments of chaos, of the unexpected and the unfortunate, that we feel like we've lost control. It's as if someone or something has knocked us off the path we were traveling. In those moments, it might be a broken
Nice little place to get together, I guess, huh?
The curses as concept, though, are the beginning of humanity. In the earliest examples, a curse was a punishment handed out by a deity to misbehaving or devious human beings. The story of Adam and Eve in the Christian Bible is full of curses, doled out after their disobedience to God's instructions. Hard physical work, painful childbirth, and expulsion from paradise are all described as curses. The Irish speak of curses as if they were something like birds. Once a curse is spoken aloud, they say it can float around a place until it finds its intended target. If the receiver wasn't in the room, a curse could drift around for up to 7 years. Not aimlessly, though. A curse was like a heat-seeking missile, waiting until the moment when the person would arrive. In Scandinavia, curses were more like bullets.
I don't remember there being curtain permits here, though. That first time that we came here together.
Returned to the speaker, where it would deal the effects of the curse on the speaker instead. Think Harry Potter wand duels, if you will. The Moors of the Middle Ages also had a very interesting tradition involving curses. It was said that if a man follows God's set of rules and requirements...
Hey, do you want anything from this store?
No, I'm good.
Sure?
Yeah.
Jumping into all of the correct rules.
I'm gonna get something. Is that okay?
A curse was said to descend upon all believers. Not a specific curse.
Now, if I look in a particular way, it doesn't mean I'm touching anybody else. It's just I'm looking at my surroundings. I don't mean for anything bad to happen at all. Okay?
Celtic people of Europe used curses in a powerful way. If a tenant farmer was fired
No mask,
and
no
evicted
service.
from the
Gotcha.
land that he had been working,
Here, you need one?
he would
Nope,
quickly
I got
go
one.
and gather stones from all over the property.
Good. Got a robbery
Then
suspect.
he would put those stones in a lit fireplace, fall on his knees, and pray. And what did he pray for exactly? Well, they prayed that for as long as the stones remained unburned, every possible curse would descend upon their landlord, his children, and all the generations after them. And then, rather than leave the stones in the fireplace where they could eventually become burned, thus ending curses, they would gather them up and scatter them all across the countryside. Curses have been there since the beginning, it seems. But over time, they have evolved to be more than just something you do with each person, as if they were weapons. Many of the stories that we tell on dark nights around campfires have more to do with implications. You see, sometimes the horrible tragedies of life refused to be explained away without the mention of a deadly curse. When Frank Tomato of Savoy told his father in 1867 that he planned to marry Maria Victoria del Pozzo, his father was enraged. Sure, she was noble birth, but she was no princess, and she certainly wasn't worthy of the son of a king. Instead, he had cursed their union. On the morning of their wedding, Maria's dressmaker committed suicide. Maria took a hint and found a different dress to wear. Later, as the bridal party made their way to the palace church in a grand procession, one of the military leaders fell off his horse and died right there in the street. The wedding procession continued on there and finally reached the palace gate, only to find them shut. A quick inspection revealed the reason why. The gatekeeper was found in the gatehouse, lying in a pool of his own blood. The dead soul continued then. Immediately after the wedding, the best man shot himself in the head. The wedding party headed to the train station, perhaps in an effort to outrun the curse. But when they arrived, the man who had drafted their marriage contract had a brain hemorrhage and died on the spot. He was soon followed by the safety master, who somehow got pulled under the royal train carriage and was crushed to death. The king apparently saw a pattern and recalled the entire party to the palace. While they were leaving the train, though, one of the noblemen fell into the assisting train car.
Here you go.
Most likely
It was $1.
Only $1?
It was only, well, $1.99. So $2, but not bad. And then there's the receipt. And then I got your favorite.
Yes.
Some cheese. I know you're probably like, I'm on a diet, but enjoy.
Well, I didn't eat for like 2 days there for a minute, so.
I love that little store though. So cute.
Yeah. How do these work? I've been sitting out here this entire time trying to get them to.
Cheese? Yeah, I'll show you. Those are really good channel locks, by the way.
I don't know where this is.
She said we're allowed to go out on the pier.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
That was close.
Yeah, so I asked her, I was like, how is it out on the pier? Do they care if you go out there? And they're like, nope.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
In 1941, Joseph Stalin sent a team of Soviet archaeologists to look for human tombs. When the local Uzbek elders heard of the search and planned excavation, they spoke out in protest. They made reference to an old book that made
Sorry, I'm here trying to find my bucket.
The idea it was to open the tomb. They spoke of curse.
And then got some more friends.
But no one listened. On June 21st, 1941, the tomb of Tamerlane was opened and his skull was removed. The very next day, Hitler's forces crossed into the Soviet Union, beginning the largest German military operation of World War II. In fact, if the Second World War had a great battle, this was it, hands down. The body of Tamerlane was studied for over a year, while the Soviet Union was torn apart and destroyed by Hitler's army. All told, the Soviet Union lost 26.6 million men and women to the invasion, more than any country in human history. It's unclear why, but in November of 1942, the Soviets decided to return Hitler's body to the sea, complete with the proper mass burial. Days later, the German invasion was repelled at Stalingrad, finally pushing them back to the west and marking a turning point in the war. A turning point, some say, that was caused by the curse. The idea of the curse is ominous. throughout folklore, and many popular stories use it as a plot device. The cursed spinning wheel of Sleeping Beauty, Snow White's cursed apple, and cursed brothers of the seven ravens all come to mind. But there's another example in Irish tradition that tops them all.
You've reached a daily limit.
It might be. There's an ancient Norse work called King's Mirror that tells a fascinating story about St. Patrick. Patrick, of course, was known for his work spreading Christianity throughout Ireland in the 5th century, but he apparently did not always meet with success on his travels. According to the account, St. Patrick
That sucks. Why would it do that?
In the southern kingdom of Ireland called Ulster. Like any other visit, Patrick's mission was to bring his message of Christianity to people there, but it appears that he struck out. The King's Mirror goes on to describe how the people of the clan made every effort they could to insult both Patrick and the god he represented. Patrick, to his credit, carried on and tried his best. The priests stayed at his reality and followed the same protocol, keeping the historic place sensitive. People wouldn't hear him. Instead, they did something that might be pretty odd to our modern ears. They howled like wolves. It's not that they laughed at them, and it happened to sound like them. These people literally howled that they had. The reason was logical. The totem, or spirit animal, for this clan happened to be a wolf. To them, they were just responding to a message from outside nature with sounds of their own. Now, this is pretty absurd, of course. And the fascinating event recorded in highlights just how important it was. But even more unusual,
I'm going to download it on your phone. And then we can use it again.
Uh-huh.
Is that okay?
Mm-hmm. Good luck.
He wasn't specific, but asked for some form of affliction that would be communal, that would carry on through the generations as a constant reminder of their disobedience. According to the story, God
Oh, it
actually
needs me to get rid of something.
said that the followers were forever cursed to become the very thing they worship. Wolves. And this curse follows a very specific set of rules. Every 7 years, one public protocol monster would be transformed into a wolf. They would be stuck in this form day and night, year after year, until the next couple would take over, transforming into wolves themselves. Part of the curse was said to be how people must stay annoying while they perform as wolves. But although they thought and spoke as humans, some of them the craving for human flesh. In this way, the curse affected everyone, from the man and woman who took the horn to the people around them who lived in constant fear of human attack. Ever since that day, so the legend goes, people of Oxford have been cursed.
Adventureland? What is that? Is that similar?
For some people, declaring someone or something accursed adds an air of mystery and drama. It's the sexy bit, and sex sells, right? For example, the Canada Family story is sad and tragic, but when we add that to the curse,
Discover and play location-based adventures and scavenger.
other people find their
There we go. This is right.
Similar?
It's like, it's more of like a scavenger hunt where it tells you what to do.
Oh, you're fine.
Okay, we're good. We'll switch off.
So you hit a limit after the day is over?
I guess you can only do it so many times. I think it's their way of getting you to pay for it. surgery.
You do it. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm driving anyway. Oh, you gotta put your little fingers down.
Oh.
Hey, did you see where I put that soda? Oh, you're nice. Thank you so much. Casino Road, next intersection. Hilarious.
What's interfering with your happiness? Maybe it's something preventing you from achieving your goals, or just the circumstances of life right now. No matter what the reason might be, one thing is clear: we could all use some help from time to time. That's where BetterHelp is. BetterHelp offers online licensed professional counselors who are trained to listen and help. BetterHelp counselors specialize in many areas, including relationship conflict, anxiety, depression, loss, trauma, and more. With BetterHelp, you can securely connect with your counselor. And everything you share.
I know, but I'm always groping.
BetterHelp will assess your needs and match you up with your own licensed professional therapist. BetterHelp is not self-help; it's professional counseling. You can send a message to your counselor anytime, and you'll get timely and thoughtful response. Plus, you can schedule weekly